Wow, I think I may have just found the best vintage comic book store in Canada, and perhaps the world. Hi everyone, and welcome to Still Only 35 Cents, your regular dose of vintage comics and collectibles. For this one, I visited Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and discovered the surprisingly vibrant comic book stores there. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the notification bell for future videos just like this one. I was recently on a vacation in Victoria, BC, Canada, visiting family, and whilst there, took some time to check out the local comic book stores. I came across two amazing and very different stores situated right next door to each other. Curious Comics and, perhaps one of the most amazing comic book stores I've ever visited, Legends, Comics and Books. But how is it that in one city, two comic shops side by side can do so well? Well, Victoria's comic scene offers two really distinct flavours, both valuable in their own way. Curious features more modern comic and collectibles, catering to a wider pop culture crowd, whilst Legends is a curated vintage collector's haven. My first stop was Curious Comics. Spread out across 3 different locations, I visited the main store in downtown Victoria. The store features new comic books, graphic novels, statues, toys and games, and many call it the best comic store in British Columbia. Situated right next door, my candidate though for the best comic book store in Canada has to go to the unassuming Legends, Comics and Books. Stepping into the store, I immediately knew I was in for something special, and it certainly lived up to its name. I was blown away. Legends has been a fixture in downtown Victoria since way back in 1992 and is co-owned by Gareth Gaudin and Lloyd Chesley. Gareth Gaudin, a multi-talented award-winning cartoonist known for his Magic Teeth Dailies book and the creator of the Pierogi Cat, whilst Lloyd brings an incredible depth of history, collecting comics for over 40 years. What really sets Legends apart is Gareth's philosophy. He is a true collector and genuinely sees comic books as art, literature, entertainment, as well as valued collectibles. This attitude earned the store a nomination for the Will Eisner Spirit of Retailing Award back in 2009 and winning Canada's National Outstanding Comic Book Retailer at the Joe Shuster Awards. Alright everyone, I'm here with Gareth Gaudin.
Hello.
From Legends Comics. I stumbled across this wonderful place whilst here. Amazing comic books, but also amazing history. So I'd love to know more about the store, how you got it started, and then on top of that, I was introduced to Magic Teeth, which is your comic book.
My comic?
Ongoing, historical, almost sketch-like book. So those two things I'd love to hear a bit more about. Tell me more, first of all, about the store. How long have you been here?
The store was opened in 1992. There was another comic store called Island Fantasy, which was like a beast of a comic store in Victoria. And every Marvel comic from late 70s through to the mid-90s had an ad for Island Fantasy. Yep. And Island Fantasy was like a dream location for a teenager to work at. And I remember I was a skateboarder and I traveled the world doing that. And I had a fellow skateboarder friend who said, "We need jobs. What do you want to do?" Because we needed jobs, or we needed money to continue traveling. And I said, "I'd love to work at Island Fantasy." And I remember him laughing at me. No one gets a job at the comic store. It's all who you know, and you don't know anyone. And I kind of took that as a challenge. And one thing led to another. I got a job as a teenager at Island Fantasy. Yeah. And when I got hired there, they just fired a guy who worked there since he was 8 years old. And that guy, Grant Wilson, had at the same time opened his own comic store called Legends in November 92. And they eventually, within a few months, stole me away from Island Fantasy, and I've been here for 33 years now.
Okay. And so how did it go from you working there to actually owning?
So I worked here for 10 years under Grant, was way better at my job than I guess I needed to be, and it just seemed obvious that this is what I was going to do. So I found a partner who was named Lloyd. Yeah. Lloyd Chesley was an older guy, and he was one of our best customers, which is like a bad thing to do. Never partner up with your best customer, because your best customer stops being your best customer because now he gets his comics for free. But Lloyd and I bought the store from Grant in 2003. Yeah. So yeah, it's been 22 years of owning it. 22 years.
Okay. And then Magic Teeth is your passion project, like an ongoing passion project?
Another thing I did, I got a job in a comic store because I was a cartoonist. Yep. So as a teenager, I started publishing. Well, I started when I was 5, self-publishing comics. Wow. But it was 1990 when I first came up with the name Magic Teeth and just started publishing under that.
Wow. And Magic Teeth is one of the things that I stumbled across it in the store and didn't recognize it on the first day I was here. The idea is you do a cartoon every single day, and you've been doing that for how long now?
This month I'll be starting my 22nd year. Wow. So today is day 7,649 of not missing a day. So I just wrote day 1 at the top of the page in 2003. 2003, right. And said I'll just do this till I'm dead.
Love the comedy, just the personal touch to it all, and just how you're telling your own story through those pages. It's fascinating.
Thank you. I love doing it, and it's 317 issues. Wow. I'm not stopping anytime soon.
I'm assuming that's all self-funded, or does it pay for itself?
It's self-perpetuating. So at first I'd make 25 copies of photocopied, and they'd cost 20 or 50 cents to make back in the old days, and then I'd sell them for $1. So everything was profitable, and I'd try. My goal was, I always kept a little ledger. So issue 1, I printed 100 copies, say, and I sold 50 of them to pay for the print run, and then I put that money away for the second issue's print run, and the rest of the money I just live off of.
So now it's to your point, of self-perpetuating. You can just keep doing it.
This is a good example. I got a job. I teach comics and graphic novels at the college here, and it's the only place in Canada you can get a degree in comics. And one of my classes is comics marketing and promotion. So this is a book called Me Mum, and it's all comics from the dailies that happened to have my mum in them. And this is when I realized she had dementia. So I called all the dailies on the subject of my mum and put out a book. Yeah. But to fund it, it's expensive to make a book. Yes. So on Instagram and Facebook, during my dailies now, I do one before midnight every day, I said, hey, I'm going to compile a book. They're $40 each if you prepay. And I started the ledger, and people would throw money at me.
Right, yeah.
So like,
that's cool.
I think I pre-sold 68 copies to pay for the print run.
Okay.
And so once those people have paid, I make the book, hand out the books, and I've got a bunch left over to sell and make a profit from.
Okay. So where can they find you on Instagram?
I'm Gareth_Gaudin, GARETH_GAUDIN. Follow along. You'll see daily comics for free every day.
Wonderful. And tell me more about the store. Like, it's quite unique for the viewers. There's comics on washing lines, which I think is a wonderful touch.
Yeah, I came up with that 30 years ago. I love the idea that it kind of has the used car lot feel.
Yeah.
So they're used comics hanging on wires with clothes pegs between. I've never seen it in another comic store.
No, I've never seen it.
I don't know why they don't all start.
No, well, the fact is usually the ceiling is the most boring part of the whole piece.
Look at Spidey.
But now you've got great like posters, and these washing lines just tell a huge story. So I think it's really good. I was also interested in just the amount of Spider-Mans that you've got.
Spider-Man 1. Todd McFarlane was living in Victoria during all of this. So every town, I guess, has a famous cartoonist. We just happened to have Todd McFarlane, the greatest, the biggest name in comics at the time. When I was 15, you'd just go to the corner store and you'd be there.
Yeah.
You'd go to a comic convention, Todd McFarlane
was there.
So I remember just lining up with all my comics over and over, just getting them autographed.
Wow.
The joke was it's rare to find an unsigned Spider-Man #1 in Victoria. Those are all unsigned Spidey ones.
These are all unsigned. So these are rare in Canada. Certainly in Victoria, and you've got a couple that you put on your eBay as well. So you're selling Todd signed books, but they're not just like Todd Today signed books. They're from
91. 91 was a day. Like there's a day in June 91 where Todd McFarlane went to the store next door.
Yeah.
And there was a lineup around the block, and he was there all day, like a 12-hour day, signing things for people. That was great.
And you're right next door to
Curious Comics.
Curious Comics. So they do a lot more moderns.
Yeah.
And they're not, but it seems like it's quite like they've got a smattering of vintage, whereas you've got like a lot of vintage and a smattering of modern. Or is that how you? Is that how the dynamic plays out?
We didn't discuss it. When Island Fantasy was such a gargantuan store, Curious opened in '88 across the street from them.
Yeah.
So they were the kid upstarts,
Yeah.
and I shopped there. It was a great place. And they slowly moved up the street, and then we opened here, and Curious was a block down.
Yeah.
And at some point, the landlord let them move in beside us, which is weird. There were 8 comic stores on this street at one time.
Wow.
Yeah,
8.
all running at the same time. Dragon Strike, Xeron, Island Fantasy, Curious Comics, Snowden's, Griffin Books. It just Yellow Jacket.
Right. Yeah. Just saw it up the road. What's interesting is how did that happen in Victoria? Like, it feels like that's a lot of comic books and a lot of comic book stores for essentially a small island off Canada.
And
it's like you've got to get stuff to over on the ferry to here.
Yeah.
Where do they how does?
Well, the entire Canada's huge.
Yeah.
And it drains here. This is where everyone retires to. It's the only place you can live year round on the street as well. So people just gravitate to Victoria. I guess that's manifest destiny.
Yeah.
And everyone brings their comic collections. And Winnipeg was always a notoriously big comic town because it was on the train route and people were sick of carrying comics and just dumped them there, apparently.
Right.
So Winnipeg's big, Victoria's huge. Vancouver has comics.
Yeah.
Vancouver's a good comic town, but like I had 4 Fantastic Four ones at the same time.
Wow.
Just came through randomly.
Just through here.
Yeah,
Just through the store.
with people coming in, hey, want to buy my comics?
Yeah.
That's like supposed to be a hard to find book, and you just never know.
Wow. So this is the thing so the Winnipeg collection is obviously a pedigree book, so that makes sense. But I'm just blown away by the fact the logistics of getting stuff here.
Yeah, we had all of Fort Street for when I was a kid was called Antiques Row, and there was dozens of antique shops. So I guess we are a few blocks away, and comics and magazines.
Yeah.
There'd just be so many old people passing away, or
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the good thing is you've got like the store, and we were talking about this a couple of days back. It's normally you'd have to go out and hunt for these things.
Yeah, I've never.
But you don't have
for
to
a
need
comic in
to.
my
It's
life.
literally people walk in and bring collections and.
Yeah.
Did you have, you just mentioned Fantastic Four 1?
Yeah.
Some of the books that have come through.
Oh,
That you've had and seen, and it's also the fact you seem to help out these people as well. Like you're acting as a consigner. Is that
right?
Is that right?
So many stories in my life where there was a famous story that a woman came in with a garbage bag of comics. She said, "I know you have a quarter bin. Can I get $20 for this bag of comics?" I'm like, "Well, let's have a look." And there was a Spider-Man 3, 4, 5, Hulk 1, like a VF Hulk 1 in here. And I said, $20 is silly. Give me a week and I'll get you like 10 grand. And so she was just thrilled, and we sold them online. We gave her as much. We usually, at that point, I think it was 65% we gave her.
Yeah.
And we just kept a bit to pay for eBay. But now it's just, instead of a comic store buying someone's collection, just say, leave it with me, I'll sell it, and I'll split the price.
We'll split the price.
Yeah, and
that's a great way to work.
Because I don't, like, why would I buy a Spider-Man 1 from somebody? Because in my head, the businessman wants it as cheap as possible.
Correct.
But it's way more fun if I put it on eBay and the consignee can watch, and they're invested in this having a higher price. So it's way more fun that way.
I love that. That is a really nice way of doing it, because far too often, to your point, it's all about like all these top 10 videos about what books you need to buy. It's like the you've got to think there's a person behind that book and actually helping them out. So I think that's a really great way of doing it. So.
Yeah, I always, there's one thing I hear as people walk by, not so much now, but if the slats are open in the door, I can hear people say, "Oh, another comic book store," or whatever. So you sometimes hear, and a common thread was that a comic store must be a front for something. Yeah. And that was like, hurt my heart. Yeah. Like, comics are legitimate. I love this medium. Yeah. So no part of me ever wants it to not just be a comic store that treated people fairly. Yeah. Well,
as I say, I love it. I love the store. I love everything about it. And it's, as I say, you've got moderns, you've got classics. I love these Where Monsters Dwell. So if you're ever in Victoria, come along to Legends and check it out.
I'd be happy to see you.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hopefully will make it back here because I've got family, so I can come back whenever I like.
Excellent.
But yeah, make the trip if you can.
But it's the breadth and scope of the shop's inventory, with a vast array of vintage DC, Marvel and independents, that makes it stand out. It really is a legendary treasure trove. But nothing could have prepared me for what happened next when Gareth kindly invited me to explore the store's basement.
So this is... How would you describe this room?
How would I describe
this?
This
Your
was downstairs from the comic shop, and when we first opened it, it was filled with vintage collections.
Yeah.
So 33 years of collections coming in the door, and you take the 10 books out of it that would pay for it, and the rest just get stored because collections come in so fast.
Right.
So down here, at one time, had about 800,000 comics.
Wow.
And they were all perfectly in order. There was a flood in that room at one time, so we had to mass exodus the stuff, which started the unorganization of it all. Yeah. Then I opened a two-story warehouse that I filled, and then dragged a ton of stuff out of here.
Yeah.
But
it's just
not enough time.
So this is all like this has all been picked out for the big keys. But it's basically, if you're like a vintage collector like me, you can find like hidden treasures that are like books that mean something to you, like the small print items, or like I saw some New Universe in here. I was like, no one's collecting New Universe, and I'm like, wow, I need to sort of pick up those New Universe.
And the New Universe was launched in Victoria. The Empress Hotel had a comic convention in '85, another one in '86, and Jim Shooter announced and launched New Universe.
New Universe in here?
Victoria.
Wow.
And the New Universe, a lot of it was set in Victoria. There's a comics I have, like Sci-Force, had scenes at my old comic store, Island Fantasy.
Wow.
So I've got copies upstairs, and you can read through, and the artists were all at the convention, so they drew the hell out of Victoria.
I never knew that. Okay. Well, that is amazing. As I say, we'll take a quick look around and see what we can find. But I've already spotted this amazing Spider-Man. What is that? Polar lights? Wow.
I counted 293 copies of Shazam #1 from February '73.
In just down here.
Down here.
Just down here.
Yeah, check, and all this original art.
Oh wow. And who's that by?
This is all Pat McEwen from an Aircell days back in the '80s. He went on to do Grendel and Batman Beyond.
Oh, look how much of this.
That's all original art by Pat McEwen, covers, and there's a cover of Samurai. Put some of that down.
Holy.
Samurai 8. Yeah, cool.
But what did I pick up? So first up, we'll start with the two books that I picked up from Curious Comics in Victoria, BC. Beautiful first print copy of The New Mutants. graphic novel that Marvel published in the 80s. This is the first appearance of the New Mutants in title, not New Mutants issue 1, so they first appeared in this book. Great to be able to pick it up, and it's in relatively good shape for a book of a first print. But what's great about this book, and I'll be very ginger in terms of opening it up, it does have a Chris Claremont signature on the inside, a very early Chris Claremont, probably from a convention in the 80s. So fabulous to have that in the collection. And that is also accompanied by this copy, Marvel graphic novel number 5. The New Mutants is number 4. This is first print of God Loves, Man Kills, the classic tale that Chris Claremont put together again back in the 80s. Beautiful looking copy, as you can see, for a first print. So really happy to grab that. And these two go very, very well together, because similarly, this was also signed by Chris Claremont back in 1989, an early signature. So obviously this was done at either a con or a comic shop, but great to be able to have both of these in the collection, signed by Chris Claremont himself. Next, I wanted to share some of the books that I managed to get from probably the best comic shop I've been in a long while, Legends Comics. First up is this comic, Enid, Jupiter and Laura Gotham, which is by Gareth himself. This is one of the books that he self-publishes. This is issue 22 of that Monster Sisters series. And again, as you can see here, it features all the cartoons that daily that Gareth draws. Sometimes twice a day, once a day. But fabulous little book, and gives you a sense of the sort of things that you'll find in these books that you can get from Gareth. Love seeing this, and there he is on the back cover with the Weird Sisters themselves. Fabulous to be able to pick this up, and the fact that he uses the comic shop to publish his own work and art as well is fabulous. But let's get on to the comics, shall we? So first up, I managed to pick this copy of Sandman issue 1, that beautiful Joe Simon and Jack Kirby special that they did for DC back in the 70s. $15 for this, $15 Canadian, so I was super happy to pick that up. I do have one copy that's in for grading at the moment, so we'll see what that comes back as. But this was fabulous, super high grade, and always when I see a Jack Kirby and Joe Simon book, I will pick it up. So that's great. Also got this copy of Arg. This is issue 4. This was down in the basement, wasn't on the main floor. Managed to pick this out when I was going through the boxes with Gareth down there. So great to be able to pick this parody issue, comedy issue. I think it only ran for 5 or 6 issues in total. This is one of the ones at the tail end of the run. Great to be able to see the parody of the Night Stalker with the Night Gawker. So wonderful stuff, this. Beautiful sort of comedy from Marvel itself. Picked up this Crisis crossover. This is DC Comics Presents issue 87. This is the first appearance of Superboy Prime, so super happy to pick this one up. A nice little key here. Found this downstairs in the basement as we were digging through, so this is great to be able to pick this up. Newsstand edition as well, so fabulous book there. As you know, most of these are in really tip-top shape. Again, this came from downstairs in the basement from Gareth's store. This is Green Lantern Corps, issue 201, and this features the first appearance of Kilowog, so I was super happy to find this in the midst of the books and pick it up. And as you can see, in really good shape, so super happy to grab that one. More from the basement. This is Marvel 2-in-1 Annual Issue 7, where Ben Grimm enters the ring with a whole bunch of characters, including Sasquatch, Colossus, Thor, the Hulk, Wonder Man, and the Submariner. Drawn and illustrated by Ron Wilson, one of my favourites, and script by Tom DeFalco. Just look at that. But not only that, he also had a Canadian price variant, of course, for this book. This one's in a little bit worse for wear shape compared to the other one, but still great to be able to pick this up. And as you can see, the price difference between the Canadian $1 on the traditional copy and $1.25 on the Canadian price variant. Still a great book to add to the PC. Next is this top copy of Amazing Fantasy issue 10 from the second volume. This features the first appearance of Nina Price, the Vampire by Night, and this was in the main stack upstairs, so this was $12. I've been specking on this for a while and have a graded copy of this book as well. I think it's a 9.8, so picking this up whenever I see it, because it's a fabulous spec book, especially with Blade and the Supernatural coming to the MCU. So $12, I think that's a hell of a pickup. Another one from upstairs, there's this is a Bronze Age key, a beautiful Bronze Age jungle action featuring the Black Panther. This is issue 14. This one I managed to pick up for $18, and again, in beautiful, beautiful condition. So super happy to grab that one with this fabulous dinosaur cover against the Black Panther. Found this one downstairs as well. This is Marvel Point 1. This features the first appearance of Sam Alexander as Nova, and predates the Avengers versus the X-Men series. So super happy to pick up this one shot, and you can see Sam Alexander as Nova on the front cover here. Let's have a quick spin over to see if we can see his first appearance. Has to be somewhere. Here we go. Beautifully illustrated by Ed McGuinness, and leading into that Avengers versus the X-Men series with the Phoenix chasing him, which ends in issue 1 of Avengers versus X-Men. Fabulous stuff. Next up is a modern day classic. This is The Amazing Spider-Man issue 55. This is the first print with this amazing cover that took the spec market by storm. Managed to pick this up for $20. I think that's a fair price for a book that is so iconic for that cover art, that has since gone on to be reprinted many, many times and inspired other copies as well. So great to have that in the PC. I love my supervillain team up, and so when I saw this downstairs in the basement, I had to grab this. This is issue 17 with this great Pollard cover with the Red Skull and the Cosmic Cube alongside Hatemonger and Armand Zola. Here's a beautiful piece of 90s foil. This is Guardians of the Galaxy issue 25 with Galactus on the cover. Just look at how beautiful that is. Had to pick this one up just purely for the cover itself and that amazing foil. Not much value to this one, but just a great cover to have in the collection. Also found these upstairs. This is a copy of Marvel Premiere issue 59. This reprints the stories that were printed in the Doctor Who Weekly from the UK. So this is part of Doctor Who's first appearance in US comics. And this one I managed to pick up for $10. But not only this one, also picked up issue 60 as well for $6. featuring the amazing Tom Baker as Doctor Who, which many of us in the comic book community remember as one of their favourite Doctors. So really great to be able to pick both of those up for what I think is a decent price for decent books. I'm a big fan of the Ghost Machine universe, and Jeff Johns' Geiger issue 1. I got this for $5. Geiger is one of my favourite characters from Image, and I think they've done a great job creating this universe. So had to pick this one up. Already have a few copies of Geiger issue 1, but whenever I see it, want to grab this book. Found this in the basement, a nice copy of Total Eclipse Book 2 with this beautiful Bill Sienkiewicz cover featuring a host of characters from Eclipse, but most importantly, a beautiful rendering of Miracle Man. And if you look inside, there is a Miracle Man story that I wanted to show you all, albeit briefly. Also managed to pick up another Pacific Comics title. This is Star Slayer, The Log of the Jolly Roger. Classic Mike Grell stuff here from 1982. Picked this up for $4. I have issue 1 and issue 2, so we'll try and complete issue 3, 4 and 5 to finish this story arc off. But great condition, great opportunity to get this book. Managed to find some still only 35 cents in the collection as well. This is Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man issue 25. Let's have a quick look on the internals to see. Beautiful looking stuff. Bill Mantlo on writing, Jim Mooney the artist, and Frank Springer on inks. And there we have, I think, the first appearance of Carrion. Needed this one as well for the collection. This is Captain America 228. Another still only 35 cents to tick off the list, thankfully. Beautiful looking copy. Wonderful stuff. Again, down in the basement, found some of these super hard to find Marvel reprint titles with the still only 35 cents on it. This is Marvel Superheroes issue 75 featuring the Hulk with this great Herb Trimpe cover of him battling the leader. And as you can see on the interiors, you get a reprint of that beautiful title with Roy Thomas as the writer and Herb Trimpe on art. So perfectly suited with that front cover. Really hard to find these in high grade in that still only 35 cents run. So super happy to find this digging in that basement. Another one in the still only 35 cents collection. Again, one of these classic reprints. This one is iconic in my mind. Marvel Super Action issue 12 starring Captain America, which reprints that classic Steranko tale with Captain America and Bucky against the Hulk. Just so glad to be able to find this. And as you can see here, you not only get the Steranko cover, you also get the beautiful original reprint of Captain America issue 110 with that Stan Lee / Steranko presentation. Beautiful stuff. This next one was a real surprise. Found this in the basement. This is Captain Marvel 33 with this stunning, iconic Thanos cover. I always pick this up whenever I can and always look for it, particularly in high grade like this. This is a fantastic example. If you don't know, beautiful work from Jim Starlin on plot and pencils and colours, with Klaus Janson on inks and Steve Englehart on script. Just a classic book to end out the Thanos arc within the Captain Marvel run. Beautiful, stunning book. Very happy with that one. Probably will get that graded at a future date. Just love that cover. This one's a little unusual, folks. This is a Marvel Comics polybag from the 80s. And this one features the Raiders of the Lost Ark issue 1. And I think just the 2 issues. Issue 1 and issue 3. With that fabulous Walt Simonson cover on issue 3. Really great to be able to pick that up. These are relatively expensive picking these up, so I was super happy to find this. And just a nice little addition to the collection, where I love picking up these polybags whenever I can find them at a decent price. What's great is they still have the original Kmart price of 50 cents. Unbelievable stuff. Also managed to pick up this first print copy of Star Reach issue 1. This is one of the first independent published comic books that came around alongside heavy metal. Wonderful stuff to be able to pick this up, featuring the work of Jim Starlin, Howard Chaykin and Walt Simonson. This first print has a back cover with these wonderful ladies and death, a Starkiller in the background. Beautiful stuff. But not only that, I managed to find a copy of the second print as well. So they reverted the covers in the second print. And then if you turn it back over, you get the poster of Cody Starreach by Howard Chaykin. Just lovely stuff. If you get a chance, you should check out Starreach. I've just managed to pick myself up a full run, and we'll be doing a deep dive on this groundbreaking book in a future video. Also managed to pick this up, another one of those classic books. This is Epic Illustrated, a magazine from the 80s that Marvel published. A little bit more adult in its style. Again, featuring the work of Arthur Sudam, Tim Conrad, Jim Starling, amongst others. Fabulous series this. I have recently also picked up a whole set of books. So again, I'll be doing a deeper dive on Epic Illustrated as well. This was upstairs in the store. I managed to pick this up for $10. Beautiful condition. And a great book to add to my burgeoning Epic Illustrated collection. Another one that I found downstairs is this Kazar the Savage. This is issue 19. The reason I purchased this, and some of you who watch my Heroes Con footage, it does feature some fumetti on the front cover and also on the back cover. I'll leave a link to the video where I talk about this fumetti in the video, because I was talking to Danny Fingeroff, who had copies of this available for sale. And the reason why I wanted this issue was to be able to have the original issue to go alongside the original art that I purchased from Danny Fingeroff, featuring some of these panels. And as you can see here, I've got the original art for these panels. I wanted to quickly show you what I picked up versus the actual fully rendered. So it's missing 2 photos, but you get to see all the lettering that was presented above that and how this was created. It's fabulous stuff. Kazar 19, wonderful to be able to pick that up to go alongside this original art. But that's not all. Digging downstairs, I found this amazing collection of the reprint title Fantasy Masterpieces, starring the Silver Surfer, which reprints almost the entire run of the Silver Surfer, and beautiful format. These are in great condition. This is the direct edition, and as you can see here, beautiful reprinting of that original story. This one features the first appearance of Shalabal, for those who love your Fantastic Four First Steps. Script by Stan Lee and art by John Buscema. Also picked up a copy of the newsstand to go alongside the direct edition. Again, in beautiful condition. In addition, got this beautiful newsstand copy of issue 2. If you can't afford a copy of Silver Surfer issue 3, first appearance of Mephisto, then this is the next obvious choice. This is the direct edition, and as you can see here, beautiful to see the power and the prize by Stan Lee and John Buscema. Let's have a look at that first beautiful appearance of Mephisto there. Wonderful John Buscema art. Great little pickup. But not only that, grabbed the copy of the newsstand to go alongside. So I have both copies for the collection. And the iconic cover to Silver Surfer issue 4, recreated here on Fantasy Masterpieces issue 4. Look at that beautiful, iconic, classic cover of Thor versus the Silver Surfer visiting Asgard. And there's that classic pose of Loki there. The good, the bad, and the uncanny. Again by Stan Lee and John Buscema. Wonderful, beautiful stuff. But also had managed to grab the newsstand version alongside the direct edition. Again, look at how beautiful these copies are, going straight into the PC. Wonderful stuff, alongside my actual issue 4 of the Silver Surfer as well. And we found ourselves an issue 5. This is the direct edition of that book featuring The Stranger, reprinting issue 5. And again, we have the newsstand and the direct edition side by side. Just so lucky to be able to have found both of these. I also found a newsstand copy of issue 6, which reprints Silver Surfer issue 6. Another beautiful looking copy, Fantasy Masterpieces issue 7, featuring the Silver Surfer, retelling the tale of Silver Surfer issue 7, the Heir of Frankenstein newsstand edition. Beautiful stuff. As I said, the condition on these really blew me away. This is Fantasy Masterpieces issue 8. Wonderful story with Now Strikes the Ghost. And what better than to have both the direct edition and the newsstand to add to the PC. And also in this one, it starts not only reprinting the Silver Surfer issues, but also Jim Starlin's classic Warlock run, reprinting Adam Warlock from the Strange Tales run. Great Jim Starlin work there. Fabulous stuff. And again, another super high grade copy. This is Fantasy Masterpieces number 9. Again, now featuring both the Silver Surfer and Warlock. So you see that in the corner box there. But not only that, managed to grab a newsstand copy of this one as well. Just great. These John Buscema illustrated issues are fantastic, and to have Warlock illustrated by Jim Starlin at the back, perfect book in my mind. Another one, this is A World He Never Made with the terrible trial of Adam Warlock in Fantasy Masterpieces issue 10. This is the direct edition, just a fab cover with the Silver Surfer on that beautiful orange. Great book. And also found a copy of Fantasy Masterpieces 11, which has this great Silver Surfer and Shalabal cover, again featuring Adam Warlock and the Thousand Clowns as well. Also managed to get the newsstand copy to go alongside, and as you can see here, again, beautiful looking copies. Always loved the cover on this one. This is Silver Surfer Fantasy Masterpieces issue 12, reprinting Silver Surfer 12 with the Abomination and Warlock versus the Magus as the backup story. Just amazing stuff. Wonderful from John Buscema on the interior. Great to see the Abomination. We also have Fantasy Masterpieces 13. Always liked this cover for the Dawn of Doomsday Man. So reprinting that classic Silver Surfer title too. Again, direct edition in beautiful shape. And to close us out, what a great book to end with. This is Fantasy Masterpieces 14, the last book in the Fantasy Masterpieces Silver Surfer run. This features that great team up between Spider-Man and the Silver Surfer, alongside the strange death of Adam Warlock. Beautiful reprints here, and just so good to see the story, the Surfer and the Spider. So that's it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on both these great stores and the comic scene in Victoria. If you were visiting, which store would you go to? And who knows, perhaps you'd find a treasure hidden in the dollar bins just like I did. We've just launched channel memberships here on Still Only 35 Cents. For just $2.99 US a month, you can join the other price variant members to gain access to exclusive member-only videos and live shows. All the proceeds raised from memberships will be going to the Hero Initiative. And with that, thanks as always for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next issue. Don't forget to check out other great videos, as well as follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X. We also host a weekly live stream, the Merry Monday Mailcall Show, every Monday morning at 7:30 AM Australian Eastern Time. Enough said.